Thank you everybody for stopping by again. I got a couple of emails asking if I would make some type of motivational, I don't know, video showing my preps in the hopes of motivating others to prep. The good thing about me is that I don't know it all. I'm a beginner, maybe a couple of years into it. So I remember what it was like to start to prep, where some of the others on YouTube been doing it so long, they don't know where to begin anymore. But I've got the advantage that I'm like you, I'm kind of new. Now, the first thing I can advise is these shelves. First of all, you need to pardon my shaky camera. I'm hand holding this tablet. I have not been able to purchase a more professional camera yet. I'll be doing so once I can save up the money. They're expensive. Anyway, first advice I would say is get a good set of shelves, whatever it takes. I got these off of Best Buy, not off of Best Buy, I went into Best Buy, picked them up for $70 a piece. They are incredibly strong. Now, pardon my wife's dishes and arts and crafts. The one thing I wanted to cover was spices. Okay? Now, I don't work for Pensy Spices. They don't give me any kind of money or revenue. But when I see something and I like and it works good, you can rest assured I'm going to recommend it. Penzies, whatever, Spices Online. Check them out. You haven't had spices if you've been buying all your spices from the grocery store. Okay? Day and night, as well as a fraction of the cost. So get all your spices from there. Why am I talking about spices? Because a lot of your preps will be unseasoned. Okay, you're going to want to season them with something. Okay, so let me just walk through what I got. You know, I've got a bunch of chicken. I love my chicken. I love my protein, beef. When I go to Costco, I'm going to be moving the camera around. I hope you don't get seasick. When I go to Costco, I buy those big things of raisins. I seal and meal them up after I portion them out. Mushrooms, Vienna sausage. Also have a nice dehydrator. So that's kale back there. Apple chips. And after I dehydrated the apples, I just sprinkled a bunch of good cinnamon on it. Not the cinnamon that you buy in the store. It's more like sawdust, which you get in the store nowadays. Some cold cereal, believe it or not. You know, we got a half a box of Raisin Bran, and we're getting a little bored with it. We'll go out and buy another box and seal and meal what we got up left. Nothing goes to waste. More apple chips, Spam. I don't know, some cake decorations. Salmon in the background. Again, I got a dehydrator, so I do a lot of dehydrating. Now, don't let the limited amount of jars fool you. Those berries on the edge are blueberries. But I can guarantee you the smallest blueberry jar is probably about 3 full flats of blueberries. And the bigger ones behind are probably about 4. And I'm talking the big flats that you get at Costco. The same with the mushrooms. Each of those jars of mushrooms, you know, they're probably about 3 in each one, about 3 or 4 large flats. Your vegetables, one of those 2-foot long bags. Each jar is one of those 2-foot long bags that you see at Costco of mixed vegetables. So don't let the volume fool you. In the back there is some, believe it or not, I believe we did some green beans. That's what they are. Strawberries. What is that? Sun-dried tomatoes. We did our own sun-dried. More canning items. Now the canning items, don't let that fool you either. After a while sitting on the shelves, things sink, they separate. But I guarantee you, I shake one of those up, open it up, tastes just like the day I cooked it on top of the stove. Various beans, flours, sugars, you name it. Fruits. Again, apologize for the shaky camera. Pasta's in the background. One thing about a situation, you're going to need a lot of calories. If there's a situation where there's no food on the shelves, not only is it important to fill your belly, but you gotta have calories, which is the energy. More kale in the middle, tomatoes, brown rices, and whatnot. All those canisters that we're looking at, they're seal meal type food saver canisters, vinegar back in there. Ramen, who can't live without vinegar? And don't forget your dog. Hey, Papa. Say hello to people. Come on, wag your tail. Say hello. His name is Buddy. His birth certificate says Buddy number 2. You want to know why? Buddy number 1 got stolen by some coyotes. We never found him again. So we got another dog, and we named this one Buddy number 2. Obviously, Buddy number 1 was the dog that got taken. Along with our preps, we have a bunch of bucket items. These 3 right here happen to be wheat, ungrinded wheat from Utah. Each bucket is approximately 60 pounds. That's a lot of loaves of good, healthy bread. Not that enriched crap that we see in the grocery stores for $5 a loaf. So it's well over 150 pounds worth of wheat. Some Mountain House items. Various Mountain House. Now, these things could be expensive, so buy what you can. If not, don't worry about it. Those pills are anti-radiation pills, or iodine pills, I think is what they call them. I have them. They were like, what, $7? I had a couple extra bucks. I purchased 1 pack, or a couple of packs for both my wife and I. What they do is they flood your liver, I guess, with some type of, with iodine, so that your liver cannot absorb radiation, I think is how they work. A couple of MREs, odds and ends. Couple of boxes of candles. I'm going to tell you something. Do not buy scented candles for an emergency use. I mean, it's okay. There's some liquid candles in there. Those are like supposedly going to last 1 billion days or something like that. So don't buy scented candles, folks. Buy unscented candles. If you need to rely on them for days on end, the last thing you want to do is smell that crap for days on end. All my camping gear is on top. What is that, a 3/4 dome REI tent that's good for 6 people? My duffel bag from when I was in the Army. That's cool. I remember getting that after they shaved my head and everything. We had to walk down a line like we were a conveyor belt or something, getting our shots and everything. Folding chairs, fishing tackle, sleeping bags that are rated for like 0 degrees, believe it or not. All my high temperature or low temperature clothing. The underwear, the high tech thermal underwears, Coleman lanterns and whatnot, and Coleman stoves. Again, sorry for the shaky camera. Wife's, what is that, a Bernina computerized sewing machine and whatnot. Tools, folks. Get your tools. All my buckets that you see have food in there, except for 1 bucket. And I'm going to swing it around. You're going to see some more buckets. All of them have food except for one. One is handmade homemade laundry detergent. Yes, you can do it. One of these days I'll make a video on how to do it with only, I think, 3 or 4 ingredients. Tools, tools, tools. There's my stack of my tool chest and a mobile one down there. Learn to do it yourself. Nowadays, the clowns that they got working, a lot of them do half-ass jobs. I'm sorry to say. I'm going to raise the shaky camera up. Speaking of, and obviously all you're doing is see in a box, but speaking of that wheat that you saw behind me, that there is, and look it up, a country mill wheat grinder. Beautiful piece of equipment. Decided to get a manual one, not an electric one. However, a motor can be attached to them. All my jarring or canning stuff. It's an excellent, it's not the best of the best, but it is excellent for my application. Food saver machine with lots of bags. Got a couple of bags there, and I got a couple of boxes of bags in the other home. By the way, I have 2 locations. This happens to be the cabin up in the White Mountains. Every now and then we have some wine. And the wife likes some real Japanese and Chinese teas every now and then. More canning items. And some honey that we bought from a local honey bee, whatever you call those people who have bees in their house or bees on their property or whatnot. Tools, tools, tools. Believe it or not, I didn't get that popcorn maker to make popcorn. No, 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 no. Some of your older popcorn makers, not the newer ones, can actually roast coffee beans. That happens to be one of them. Many of you folks know I'm into coffee, good coffee. I bought that in the hopes of one day learning how to roast my own beans. And one day I have aspirations of buying me one of those real Italian espresso machines. Maybe one day when I retire. Buckets, buckets, buckets. What are in my buckets? Well, we already talked about the wheat that's behind me. But one of those is cram-packed full with white flour that I purchased from the grocery store. I think King Arthur flour. You know, one might have pinto beans, one might have black beans, one might have, did I say split peas? That sort of thing. Sugars. I know 2 of them are pastas, macaroni. A lot of rice, different varieties of rice. So one might be all brown rice, one might be jasmine rice, one might be white rice. All my food items are packed in a thick mylar, airtight bags, and then packed into these canisters. Got a bunch of jars, containers of various cleaning items and whatnot that were just given to us. Sure, we'll take it. I'm almost done with the video. One thing I wanted to talk about is a good safe. Go back and check out my review on this safe, standing next to our upright freezer. It's called a sturdy gun safe. I did an extensive review on it. Go check it out, folks. If you're looking for a safe, this is the best bang for the dollar. And speaking of tools, So we have a wood cabin, and when you have a wood home or wood cabin, every year or 2 years you have to spray the wood down with an oil. So I got a couple of estimates. We had a small cabin here. Nothing. It looks really small when you drive by it. And these clowns, they come in, they think you're dumb, and they quote, somewhere in the area of $800 to $1,200, not including materials to spray your house down. You know what I did? Went and bought my own sprayer, brand new. I'll spray my own house down. And anything I don't know, I'll go on YouTube, figure out how to do it myself. And the money I save, we'll invest in silver or take the wife on a trip or something. So I did the research, and that's what I came up with. Sorry for the blurry camera. It's not auto-focusing as well as I want. And you know what I'm going to do after that with that sprayer? When I quit work and move up here full time, I'll put an ad in the paper and go around spraying people's homes, making a buck. And I'll do it for cheaper than these clowns are doing it. And probably with more pride. I'm going to take you to one last place to show you some more preps. Some more flour. Believe it or not, I bought that flour just for the cloth bag. It's called, you can use it for couche. You guys would have to look that word up. Just type in Google bread couche. One thing, if you're collecting flour and wheat, you're gonna have to learn how to bake bread. And that has become a little hobby of mine. And I learned how to bake bread. Not like your mommy's, I'm saying that sarcastically, not like your mommy's sandwich bread. I learned how to make artisan breads. I've learned to make good cinnamon rolls and various items. And if you're going to collect food, you're gonna have to learn to utilize these foods, especially your wheats and your flours. What good are you if you can't bake a loaf of bread? And speaking of foods, one thing or two things I'm going to add to the list that I need to stock up on. In the times of trouble, you might be eating things that you normally don't eat. Okay? So another recommendation would be to get a stockpile of Tums. Believe it or not, your stomach might need to be getting adjusted to some of the foods that you might have to start eating again. One other thing is meats and proteins might become scarce. Get yourself a couple of bags of protein powders if you can afford it. That sort of thing, Little odds and ends to think of. I'm going to take you to one last place. I might have a shaky camera in the interim. And I will, because I have to turn on this light. Some of the other items we have, and again, focusing problems with my highly expensive, just for motivational purposes. Now this door is blocking a lot, and this wall, you can actually go behind the wall, is blocking a lot, but cast iron, I love my cast iron. I got a couple of more in the kitchen area, a lot of fuels, a lot of not propanes, a lot of kerosenes, a lot of Coleman white gases, and whatnot, coffees. Those Idahoan potatoes, phenomenal. There's a brand that Costco sells. Disgusting. But these I got at Sam's Club. I mean, they taste just like real potatoes. Amazing. I'm almost done. Various Tupperwares and stuff like that. One additional thing. Now, I have a few here. And like I said, this is not my only stockpile of food. What we're looking at is actually a closet that's kind of opened up on both sides. I can't really show you everything. But toilet paper, toilet paper, toilet paper, get toilet paper. Costco, you can get a bunch. At Costco, you can get a year's worth, and at nothing. But you got to have that, right? You got to have that. Like I said, I have a few things. I'm no expert. There's obviously, for the experts who might bump into this video, they're gonna see my voids where I am lacking. I know I'm lacking, but this is what I got. I dedicated this room just for preps. There's a lot of food in here, just in those buckets alone. Don't be misled. A lot of buckets, and in the case of an emergency, what I'll do is move up from Tucson, my other home, and before I leave that house, all the food that's in there would be consolidated into the truck, and boom, we're on the road. So anyway, hope this video wasn't too boring. You folks take care, and give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Hey, you know what would be cool? If everybody showed their videos of preps. And it'd be very motivational. I would see stuff that you have that I don't have, and I might say, that's a good idea, and I might get that, and vice versa. So, folks, take care.